I suppose you wouldn't expect perhaps to find a mathematician in a museum of historical objects, but actually, the objects that I've been drawn to in this museum have quite a lot of mathematical significance. These Neolithic stones, discovered in Scotland, dating back 5,000 years, are probably the first examples of humans exploring the concept of symmetry. And that's what I do as a practicing mathematician. I spend my life trying to understand what symmetries are possible in nature and in mathematics and abstractly. And here I've got a connection, going back 5,000 years, to people who are already trying to understand how can I arrange patches on the side of these stone balls in a symmetrical manner. One of the intriguing things about these stones is that we don't actually know what they're for. They might have been for divination trying to predict the future. They might have been part of a game. They look very much like dice, but we don't really think there is any game associated with them. Maybe they were just for chucking around. They're very nice in the hand when you hold them. Or maybe they were symbols of power in the clan. I suppose that's why I like them, because we don't really know what they are. If I had a theory about why they were doing this, it would be that actually, they were starting to be mathematicians, and that here we see the first example of abstract thought at work. That these weren't for a purpose. Mathematics is a great subject, created a lot of the technology around us, but mathematicians, we create our mathematical objects for the joy and the beauty, so it will be lovely to think that these didn't actually have a use, that they were just really a celebration of what's possible.
Alright, so we just hear the lecture for summarized spoken text. So what you have to do is we just hear the lecture, and what I did is I noted down few keywords. So these are the keywords I noted down while listening to the lecture. Now I have to make sentences in this box, and I have to write 50 to 70 words. As you can see here, you can already see that in the question, you have to write your response in 50 to 70 words. Just make sure that whatever you do with good grammar. Alright, so let's get into it. It starts with the lecture is about. So this is the template, this is the format that you have to use. The lecture is about dash. So the lecture is about a keyword which has been repeated most of the time, or a word that gives a brief idea about the lecture. If you don't know what the lecture is about, just use the word what has been repeated most of the time. So what I'm going to use is, I'm going to use the lecture is about mathematics and mathematicians. The lecture is about mathematics and mathematicians. All right, then firstly, that's how we start writing sentences. Firstly, and make one sentence. Firstly, so I'll make one sentence using the keywords. The sentence that I'll make doesn't have to make sense. I just have to use the keywords and make sure that the grammar is right. Let me give it a try. Firstly, significance of historical objects in the museum. DEPICT depicts the Neolithic stones. Sorry, Neolithic if I'm not sure, I'm not going to use it. Depicts the human life for 5,000 years. Years. Let's stop. Then you go for the second sentence. Make sure you capitalize the S after full stop. Yeah, make sure you capitalize the S after full stop. So what you have to do is you have to write secondly, comma, and make another sentence. Try to make another sentence. Secondly, the nature of the connection between human and the connection between human already I say people. The connection between people and Don't try to repeat the keywords as many times, right? Because I have already used the word human, so I'm going to use people, and I have noted down people as a keyword as well. You can see here. So I have I have human here and I have people here. So you can use two words at two different times as well. The connection between people and nature. Sorry. The connection between people and nature. The connection between shows divination भनेको सुने मैले DIVI NTION divination symbol in a symmetrical manner. Okay, this sentence does not make any sense at all, but I'm just going to use it because this should be grammatically correct. Now I'm going to say thirdly, and then for the third sentence you don't have to make sentence, you can just write the keywords saying that thirdly he mentioned I'm just going to write the keywords. He mentioned technology, celebration, joy, beauty, purpose of life, power. I won't write purpose of life, I'll just write purpose, power, predict future, and stone भइसक्यो mathematics भइसक्यो mathematicians mathematical भने जस्तो लाग्यो I don't know, and I will just write and the theory. Yeah, so here what we do is we just say thirdly he mentioned, and I'll just use the keywords technology, celebration, joy, comma, beauty, comma, purpose, comma, power, comma, predict, comma, future, and theory. So I'll just write the keywords. Yeah, and then what you have to do is you have to conclude the sentence, conclude the lecture saying in conclusion. Make sure you capitalize the first letter after a full stop. Okay, in conclusion, the lecture was informative. You can just write that. You can just write the lecture was very informative, or you can add the lecture was very informative about mathematical theories. You can just add a few extra words as well. I will submit and let's see if I do any mistakes on a divination. Okay, so that is wrong. Possible missing article, the divination. Okay, that should not be a big problem. Let's see what do I get. Alright, I got 2 out of 2 in grammar, 1 out of 2 in content, spelling 2 out of 2, form 2 out of 2, vocabulary 1 out of 2, and I got overall score of 82. What I need is I need to get at least 1.2 out of 2. So that's 60% of the content. We should target for 60% of the content everywhere in all sections of PTE. Wherever there is content, we have to get 60%. I got only 50% of the content, so I got 82 out of 90, which is still not a bad score. But if I had got 1.2 out of 2, then I would be getting more than 84 or more than 85 or even 90 out of 90. So the main point is that you don't have to do any grammar mistakes. So this is like, it's not a very good attempt, but it's a basic attempt. Everyone can do this, but the thing is that, see, in exam, the content is not in our hand, right? You can get a lecture which you have never heard before. You can get the words which you have never heard before. So it's completely dependent on what question do you get in exam. So content is not in our hand. Even if I get 50% in content, and if I get good score in other sections, I'm still getting ISBAN 8, right? I'm still getting 79 plus. So I'm still on the safe side. Make sure you don't do any of the spelling mistake. Spelling is very critical. Make sure you don't do any of the spelling mistake. Form, you get point for form, for word count, full stop, comma, and everything. Vocabulary and content are mostly similar, and grammar is the main thing. If you don't want to lose point in grammar, try to make simple sentences. See, I showed you saying that we have to make 2 sentences. If you find making sentence difficult, you can replace one sentence by saying he mentioned this and this and this, just like we said here in the thirdly. He mentioned this and this and this. You can do that for second sentence as well, but at least try to make one sentence and make a simple sentence using just the keyword. All right, all the best for your examination. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe.